Hi, I'm Tequila, owner of the Art Lounge, and welcome to the instructional video for the Safari Painting Kit. So I'm going to get you all started, and I'm going to show you how to get your canvas from this to this here. All right, so stay tuned. Hopefully you have everything already set up in your space. I hope you all have some good food going, some good drinks, and hopefully you have your area already set up for your paint party. So with that being said, you should have your canvas. If you purchase a easel from us, they should be sitting on the easels now. You should have a cup of water. You should have your paint. Mine is going to be on the plate. But if yours came in the little plastic container, so you can leave them in the container. You don't have to take the paint out. I would leave it in there if I were you. You also need a paper towel or a napkin, and you need your paintbrushes, and you should have 2 of those. So inside of your painting kit, you have painting tips. And I'm a visual learner. When I read stuff, sometimes it goes over my head, right? So I want to be able to see exactly what you mean by these words here. All right, so like the first step, this will be a landscape. We have painting tips for painting people and landscapes. This would be a landscape, of course. Number 1 on there says paint your background. So that's the first thing we're gonna do. Your background would be anything back here, like this open area around the elephant. Anything behind the sun, well, this would be considered behind the sun in this area, and behind the tree in those open spots. Number 2, if you notice, it says cover the outlines of trees, chairs, animals, etc. So that's what we're going to do. So go ahead and grab the biggest brush that you have. My table is all the way over here, so that's why I keep leaving out the frame of the camera. But what you want to do is go ahead and dip your big brush into your water. I like to smooth mine over the side here. And then you want to take it and kind of swipe it across your napkin like this, okay? Whenever you wet your brush, make sure that you take it across your napkin so that your brush isn't dripping with water. I just want to get you all started and on the right track so that you can enjoy your paint party and feel confident about what you're doing. So the first thing that we're going to do, if you look at the photo that I gave you of the painting, you'll see that, and I'm just looking at this here, you'll see that the sky, you have 3 colors. You have red, black, and yellow. You'll see that the sky is a little mixture of red and orange. And so to get red and orange, we need to do what? We need to actually use red and yellow, because that red and yellow will give us an orange color. The first thing that we're going to do, though, is paint the sun. Actually, for the sun, we're going to use our small brush. So go ahead and grab that little blue brush that you have, and you can wet it just like you did with the big one. So we're going to go ahead and paint the sun. Now for the sun, you can either paint over top of the elephant if you want to, or you can just stay in the lines. You can paint over top of the rocks that you have here. And it doesn't matter if you stay in the lines or not, because all of this stuff is going to be covered up in the end. So go ahead and paint your sun. And some of my sun or some of my yellow is going to be overlapping the elephant. You can be a little neater if you want. It's okay. We're going to fill in the elephant anyway, so you won't even see any of the yellow that just went over the lines. So that's not a real big deal to me. And when you're painting, make sure that you use a little bit of paint and spread it around as much as you can, because really it only takes a little bit of paint to cover the canvas. So I'm just taking a small amount. I don't know if y'all can see that. And I'm just going in here and spreading it around as much as I can before I get more. So I'm going to go ahead and move to the next step. I'm going to clean my brush off. Anytime that you get a new color, unless you're blending, you want to make sure that you are using the same, or you want to make sure that you're actually cleaning the brush off. And when you clean your brush off, don't be afraid to mash it down into the bottom of the cup. That's how you're going to get all that paint off. Because if you just around the top, just stirring it up like you have some tea, the paint is not going to come off, right? So make sure you kind of like mash it down at the bottom so that you can clean it off really good. I'm going to move on to the sky. So I'm going to start with red, dipping my brush into the red. And I'm going to start at the top. I have a flat board, so I don't have any edges, but you all have a gallery wrapped canvas. And what that means is it is ready to hang. It has like a wood backing on it that the canvas material is wrapped around. And that's for purposes of you hanging it. So this is a board, it can't be hung, but your canvas can. So your edges are pretty thick, they're at least an inch around. So make sure you paint those edges, especially if you're gonna hang your painting. It just looks so much better when you hang or when you paint the entire canvas. If you don't, it kind of looks like it's unfinished. So make sure you paint your edges. If you come to my class at the studio, I always say paint your edges. That's one of my things, okay? That's like a little pet peeve of mine. Gotta paint your edges. Okay, so at the top, we're gonna start with the red, and I'm just gonna go back and forth. And I'm just smoothing this paint out and spreading it around as I go. Now I'm going to get some yellow without cleaning my brush off because we're actually blending this time. So I'm not going to clean my brush off, and I'm going to go back into this area where it starts to break up. Actually, like right here at the bottom of that red. And you see what it's doing? I'm sweeping right over top of it. I'm taking my yellow and I'm actually sweeping back up into the red. And I'm sweeping down. And I'm covering everything. Now, if it starts to get too yellow like this, add some red in there. And you can make this background look however you want. This background is totally abstract. So you can mix your colors in however you want. That's the thing that I love about this painting. It's abstract. And we're just sweeping back and forth. You can kind of like go across. You can kind of play with it if you want. Well, guess what? It has a whole bunch of red in there now. And this is the fun part about painting. It's like, if you mess up, if you feel like you messed up, just make it look another way. It's like, really, it's no way that you can mess up anything. And if you did mess up, no one will ever know, unless you tell them. I'm going to take my little brush and add some more yellow into my sun here. Just so it's not too orange. Or too red. I don't mind an orange color actually. So yeah, so I'm taking my yellow. I'm gonna blend out some of that red that's in there. So once you have your whole background covered. You have your sun and everything. The next thing would be to take your black and fill in everything else. So you want to fill in the bottom here with all black. And again, you can look at your painting that you have or the picture that you have as a reference so that you know what to paint black. Paint all of this black at the bottom. You want to paint your entire elephant black. You want to paint the little rocks that I have. And then also make sure you add like some little lines for your grass. And you want to make sure that you fill in your entire tree. Now, one thing that I do want to show you, because I'm not going to do this entire painting on the video here, just it'll be too long. But what I want to show you is the tree. So I'm going to fill in a part of the tree so that you can see it. So if you notice, I am not painting flat like that. I'm not doing that. I'm pointing my brush at the canvas and I'm keeping it pointed. I'm not going to lay it flat so that I can, in a sweeping motion. I'm going to point it at the canvas and keep it pointed. This brush is a little raggedy, so my lines are not going to come out as straight as yours because I don't even know why I chose to pick up this brush in particular. But when you get to those skinny areas, you want to make sure you point your brush, make sure it's as flat as possible. You point, and that's how you can make sure that you get those thin lines. When you're in a bigger area, then you can do, you know, that regular sweeping motion that you would do. Okay, and I'm not gonna fill in the whole tree. Like I said, I'm just showing you tip. So the next thing would be the leaves on the tree. They're sitting right on top of the branches. So to get that look, I'm taking that black and I'm just gonna tap, 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 tap. And then tap, 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 tap. Tap here. Okay, and every area where you have a branch, you tap. And you can even put it in places where you don't have a branch. So like maybe I wanted one in this area because it's too open. You can do that too. Okay. Then here, you know, make sure you add your little grass. Again, this brush is not the best. But make sure you add your little grass up there. Okay, and yours are gonna look 10 times better than that. All right, so hopefully that helped you all start your painting off. Hopefully you feel a little more confident and now you know what to do for the safari painting. Again, thank you all so much for supporting the Art Lounge by purchasing the at-home painting kit. And I hope you enjoy your painting experience tonight.